Hi, welcome to MK Sews. I'm Emma. In today's video, I'd like to share one make with you. It is this. This is the Connie Shacket by Ellie Mac. As you can see, I have lined the inside. I've lined inside the sleeves. So this is a nice warm jacket. It's been lined in a fleece fabric and I've added the clear buttons, and I'd like to tell you about making this one because I haven't made anything with a collar or cuffs before, so I thought I would share my experience. Let me tell you about this make. The shacket pattern has a collar, and you'll notice that mine no longer has a collar, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. I got this fabric from the swaps table at the Australian Sewing Guild, and I brought it home and I washed it before putting it away, and when I pulled it out of the wash, I discovered that the fabric was quite discolored. It had huge sections that looked like bleach. It had unfortunately been poured over it. I'm not really sure. There were lots of lighter discolored sections of the fabric, so cutting out this was really annoying. It was quite tough to cut out all of the pieces. So the whole time I was cutting it out, I was cutting around the discoloration. I was trying to pattern match as much as possible so that it would look really good as a finished garment. I did my best to make sure that the pieces I cut out weren't discolored in any way. I made the straight size extra large, and I made the straight hem version, and I wanted it to be thigh length. As you can see from the pictures, it's no longer thigh length, and I'll tell you why. It was completely my mistake. When cutting the pieces for the shacket, I didn't realize that I'd actually cut the pattern on the wrong line, and so the back ended up much shorter than the front, which meant that I ended up having to trim off and hem up the front at a much larger depth than the hem at the back. So you can see there the hem is quite deep, and if I turn it around so you can see the back there is quite shallow. I had to do that so that I got an even jacket. Also due to this, I then didn't use the facing pieces for the hemline because they wouldn't have fit. So because I'd had to change stuff to make it all fit together. And I also added, I don't know if you noticed, but I also added a slit because hips, you know, they have to go somewhere. I thought it would be less noticeable, my mistake in cutting, if I'd added a slit in there. I didn't do a full bust adjustment on this one because according to the finished garment measurements, I didn't need to. I was quite pleased with that. Then I decided to add the lining. Well, adding the lining took up a little bit of room inside, let's say. I added the lining because I wanted it to be warmer, but when I tried it on, I realized that it was now a bit tight across the bust. So then I made the button placket skinnier to allow extra room for the girls and for the jacket to still be able to be buttoned up, and that worked. And so I was like, okay, I've sorted it, not a problem anymore. Let's keep going. And of course that led to issues with the collar stand and collar not fitting because I'd already cut those out at the size that the jacket should have been, but because I'd made the front bodice wider to accommodate for my bust, the collar stand and the collar were too short. So then I went and looked at the fabric I had left over to see what I could recut to get a collar stand and collar to fit the jacket that I had created. I ended up having to add 2 inches to both the collar piece and the collar stand piece. So I went back to the fabric, and there was no fabric that I could have cut that did not have discoloration on it for the collar piece, and I was just able to squeeze out the collar stand piece because I needed 2 of each piece. So I decided that I would just make the collar stand and wouldn't make the collar, and it would be fine, and it would be more like a mandarin style collar. So that's what I did. Anyway, I'm really happy with this. The jacket is warm, it's really comfortable. I have enough space across my back. I can do it up I can see myself wearing it over a long sleeve t-shirt rather than like a jumper or a cardigan. I don't mind that it doesn't have a collar. I quite like the lining color peeking out, it brightens it up a bit. But yeah, and I also left off the pockets of that one because I didn't have enough fabric to create those either without having some of that discolored fabric on it, and I didn't like how that looked. So that was that one. And I wanted to tell you about the Connie Shacket because it is on sale this week. So I'll put the sales dates up on the screen for you so you can see when that sale ends. But it is a great time to pick up this shacket if you're interested in making one for yourself. I'm really pleased with how the cuffs were constructed. I'll just show you. My sleeves are fully lined inside. I really like how that cuff has been constructed. So yeah, I'm going to make another one of these shackets. I think I'm going to do a proper full bust adjustment, and I'm going to try and get the thigh length version that I wanted originally, but it will obviously be in another fabric because the rest of that fabric has gone into my pile that I make toiles out of because no one wants bleached fabric in their finished makes. But that's all I wanted to tell you about today. I hope you enjoyed seeing my Connie Shacket, which you can get on sale now via the affiliate link down below. But that's it from me. I hope you have a creative day and I'll see you next time. Bye!